Tonight we are entering one group from the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Four countries, four flags, four different cultures, and four different football stories meeting in the same group. In this video, we will travel calmly through the countries of this group. We will not only look at the teams, we will look at the countries behind them, their cities, their food, their traditions, their famous places, their football history, and the important players who will carry their hopes onto the pitch. Because in the World Cup, every match is more than a score. Every country arrives with memory, identity, culture, and millions of people watching from home. So take a slow breath, relax your shoulders, and let's begin our quiet journey through this World Cup group. The Netherlands is a country in northwestern Europe, a place of canals, water cities, windmills, bicycles, flowers, art, trade, and one of the most influential football cultures in the world. Its capital is Amsterdam, a city of canals, narrow houses, bridges, museums, and constant movement. But the Netherlands is also known through Rotterdam, with its modern architecture and port energy, The Hague with its political importance, Keukenhof with fields of flowers, Kinderdijk with its windmills, and quiet towns where water, streets, and bicycles shape daily life. To understand the Netherlands, you have to imagine more than stadiums. You have to imagine stroopwafels with warm caramel, bitterballen shared in cafes, herring eaten by the water, Dutch cheese, poffertjes, pancakes, and simple food connected to cold weather, markets, and family gatherings. You have to imagine orange flags beside canals, bicycles crossing bridges, tulip fields in spring, and old windmills standing against a wide sky. The Netherlands feels like a country built with water and design. Much of its identity comes from living with the sea, controlling rivers, building cities around canals, and turning a small country into a place with global cultural influence. It is calm, organized, creative, and quietly confident. This is the culture the Netherlands brings to the World Cup. Football in the Netherlands is not only about winning, it is about ideas. Dutch football changed the way the world thinks about the game. Total football, Ajax, Johan Cruyff, positional play, movement, intelligence, and technical courage all belong to the Dutch football story. The national team is known as Oranje because of its famous orange shirt. When the Netherlands plays, the color itself becomes part of the tournament. Orange shirts, orange flags, orange crowds, and a belief that football should be played with imagination follow the team everywhere. The Netherlands has reached World Cup finals but has never won the trophy. That gives its story a special feeling. Beautiful football, great generations, unforgettable players, and the constant search for the final step. Johan Cruyff, Marco van Basten, Ruud Gullit, Frank Rijkaard, Dennis Bergkamp, Arjen Robben, Wesley Sneijder, and many others made the Dutch shirt famous across generations. And now, in 2026, there are important names carrying the story forward. Virgil van Dijk is the captain and defensive leader, a player known for calmness, strength, authority, and experience. Frenkie de Jong brings control, elegance, and the ability to move the ball through pressure. Cody Gakpo gives the attack movement, finishing, and direct quality. Memphis Depay carries experience and creativity in the forward line. Denzel Dumfries brings power and running on the right side, while Tijani Reinders and Ryan Gravenberch add energy, balance, and modern midfield quality. In 2026, the Netherlands arrives with history, expectation, and a familiar question. Can a country famous for football ideas finally turn beauty into the biggest prize? So when the Netherlands steps onto the pitch, remember this. You are not only watching 11 players, you are watching a country of canals, bicycles, windmills, orange shirts, famous food, football philosophy, creative movement, and one of the most influential styles the game has ever seen. And now we move to another story from this group, a different flag, a different culture, a different football rhythm, another country, carrying its own history, its own flavors, its own places, and its own dream. Let's continue. Sweden is a country in northern Europe, a place of forests, lakes, islands, clean design, quiet cities, long winters, and a calm national character that often hides a strong competitive spirit. Its capital is Stockholm, a city built across islands, bridges, water, old streets, and modern Scandinavian design. But Sweden is also known through Gothenburg, Malmö, the ice hotel in the north, Lapland under the northern lights, and the Stockholm archipelago, where thousands of islands stretch into the Baltic Sea. To understand Sweden, you have to imagine more than stadiums. You have to imagine Swedish meatballs with lingonberry jam, gravlax, cinnamon buns, crisp bread, pickled herring, and simple food connected to cold weather, family tables, and quiet comfort. You have to imagine forests covered in snow, lakes reflecting the sky, red wooden houses, clean interiors, summer nights that seem to last forever, and winter landscapes where silence becomes part of the culture. Sweden feels like a country of balance. It carries nature, design, music, technology, literature, and a social rhythm built around order, calmness, and trust. It is not a country that always needs to shout. Often Sweden shows strength through control, patience, and careful detail. This is the culture Sweden brings to the World Cup. Football in Sweden is organized, physical, intelligent, and proud. The national team is known for structure, teamwork, discipline, and the ability to remain difficult to break down. Swedish football often feels calm on the surface, but underneath it carries intensity, directness, and a strong belief in the collective. Sweden has a respected World Cup history. The country hosted the tournament in 1958 and reached the final that year. It also finished third in 1994, a tournament remembered with great emotion by Swedish fans. Those memories still belong to the yellow and blue shirt. Sweden also carries legendary names. Zlatan Ibrahimovic became one of the most famous Swedish players ever, a striker known for personality, technique, strength, and impossible goals. Henrik Larsson, Freddie Ljungberg, Thomas Ravelli, and many others helped shape Swedish football across generations. And now, in 2026, Sweden arrives with a powerful attacking identity. Alexander Isak brings elegance, movement, calm finishing, and technical quality. Victor Gyökeres gives the team strength, speed, pressing, and a direct goal threat. Together, they make Sweden dangerous in a way that feels different from the older image of Swedish football. Behind them, Yasin Ayari adds energy, confidence, and midfield danger. Anthony Elanga brings pace and width. Lucas Bergvall represents the younger generation with creativity and future promise. Matthias Svanberg gives balance and experience in midfield, while Victor Lindelof and Isak Hien bring defensive leadership, strength, and control. In 2026, Sweden arrives with northern calm but also with real attacking power. It is a team built on organization, but not only organization. It has players who can run, press, score, and change a match quickly. So when Sweden steps onto the pitch, remember this. You are not only watching 11 players, you are watching a country of forests, lakes, islands, cinnamon buns, clean design, northern silence, yellow shirts, organized football, and a new attacking generation carrying Swedish pride onto the world stage. And now we move to another story from this group, a different flag, a different culture, a different football rhythm, another country, carrying its own history, its own flavors, its own places, and its own dream. Let's continue. Japan is an island country in East Asia, a place where ancient temples, neon cities, mountains, technology, discipline, and quiet beauty all live side by side. Its capital is Tokyo, one of the largest and most modern cities in the world. It is a city of bright crossings, fast trains, tall buildings, tiny restaurants, calm gardens, and lights that seem to continue forever. But Japan is also known through Kyoto, with its temples and old streets, Mount Fuji rising above the landscape, Osaka with its food culture, Hiroshima with its memory, Nara with its deer and shrines, and Hokkaido with snow, open nature, and northern calm. To understand Japan, you have to imagine more than stadiums. You have to imagine sushi prepared with care, ramen served late at night, tempura, yakitori, udon, onigiri, matcha, and takoyaki eaten in busy streets. You have to imagine bamboo forests, cherry blossoms, temples, bullet trains, vending machines, quiet tea houses, anime, gaming culture, and cities where tradition and future seem to walk together. Japan feels like a country of precision and contrast. It can be peaceful and intense at the same time. It carries centuries of tradition, but also some of the most recognizable technology, design, cinema, animation, and pop culture in the world. This is the culture Japan brings to the World Cup. Football in Japan is disciplined, technical, fast, and intelligent. The national team is known as the Samurai Blue, a name that carries respect, focus, and national identity. Japanese football is built on organization, movement, pressing, teamwork, and the belief that details can decide a match. Japan has become one of Asia's most respected football nations. Since its first World Cup appearance in 1998, the country has grown steadily, building a strong domestic league, sending more players to Europe, and creating a football identity based on discipline and technical quality. And now, in 2026, there are important names carrying the story forward. Takefusa Kubo is one of the creative leaders, a player known for close control, left-footed quality, and imagination. Daichi Kamada brings intelligence, timing, and calmness between midfield and attack. Ritsu Doan adds energy, pressing, and attacking threat. Keito Nakamura brings movement and finishing, while Ayase Ueda gives Japan presence and danger in the forward line. Kaishu Sano adds balance in midfield, and Yuto Nagatomo carries experience and memory from past generations. Japan also carries the shadow of important absences. Kaoru Mitoma, Takumi Minamino, and Wataru Endo have all been central to Japan's modern football story, and their connection to this generation shows how deep the squad has become. In 2026, Japan arrives with ambition. Being respected in Asia is no longer enough. This is a country trying to turn discipline, technique, and collective belief into a deeper World Cup run. So when Japan steps onto the pitch, remember this. You are not only watching 11 players, you are watching a country of temples, neon lights, mountains, technology, famous food, quiet discipline, creative football, and one of Asia's strongest football cultures carrying the Samurai Blue onto the world stage. And now we move to another story from this group, a different flag, a different culture, a different football rhythm, another country, carrying its own history, its own flavors, its own places, and its own dream. Let's continue. Tunisia is a country in North Africa where the Mediterranean coastline meets desert landscapes, ancient ruins, white and blue towns, and a deep football pride. Its capital is Tunis, a city of markets, history, old streets, and Mediterranean rhythm. Tunisia is also known through Sidi Bou Said, with its white walls and blue doors, the ancient ruins of Carthage, the island of Djerba, the Sahara Desert, and the El Jem Amphitheater, one of the most impressive Roman monuments in North Africa. To understand Tunisia, you have to imagine more than stadiums. You have to imagine couscous served with vegetables and spice, brick with its crisp pastry, harissa bringing heat to the table, lablabi, mechouia salad, and macrode with its sweet date filling. You have to imagine cafes near the sea, narrow streets in old medinas, desert roads, Roman stones, olive trees, and the blue horizon of the Mediterranean. Tunisia feels like a country of layers. It carries Arab, Amazigh, Mediterranean, African, and ancient Carthaginian influences. Its culture is shaped by history, trade, food, music, family life, and the contrast between the coast and the desert. This is the culture Tunisia brings to the World Cup. Football in Tunisia is proud, intense, and disciplined. The national team is known as the Eagles of Carthage, a name that connects modern football to ancient history. When Tunisia plays, it carries not only a team, but the memory of Carthage, North African identity, and millions of fans who understand how much football can mean. Tunisia has been part of World Cup history for decades. In 1978, it became the first African team to win a match at the World Cup, a moment that still belongs to the story of African football. Since then, Tunisia has built a reputation as a competitive, organized, and difficult team, and now, in 2026, there are important names carrying the story forward. Hannibal Mabry brings creativity, fire, and unpredictability in midfield and attack. Elias Skiri gives the team experience, balance, and control. Montassar Talbi brings leadership and defensive strength. Omar Rekik adds presence at the back and has already written his name into Tunisia's tournament story. Ali Abdi gives energy on the left side, while Jan Valeri brings defensive structure and international experience. Anas Ben Slimane offers midfield quality, and Elias Saad brings movement and attacking hope. Tunisia also carries the memory of past names like Wabi Khazri, Radi Jaidi, and Tarak Diab, players who helped shape the country's football identity across generations. In 2026, Tunisia arrives with pride but also with pressure. The group is difficult and every match demands focus, but Tunisia is used to fighting for respect. It is a team that understands discipline, defensive work, and the emotional weight of representing North Africa on the biggest stage. So when Tunisia steps onto the pitch, remember this: you are not only watching 11 players, you are watching a country of Mediterranean coastlines, desert landscapes, ancient ruins, spicy food, blue and white streets, Carthaginian memory, North African pride, and the Eagles of Carthage carrying their football story onto the world stage. And that was one group from the 2026 FIFA World Cup. 4 countries, each carrying something different: different languages, different foods, different songs, different histories, different football dreams. This is what makes the World Cup beautiful. It is not only about who wins, it is about how the world gathers in one tournament. A flag becomes more than a flag, a team becomes more than 11 players, and a match becomes more than 90 minutes. Now, when you see these countries on the World Cup screen, they will not feel like simple names in a group. They will feel like places, like people, like cultures, like stories. And tonight you learned one more part of the World Cup,